Good morning. Good morning. Hopefully you can hear me, folks. Anyway, a little bit late this morning, but better late than never, they say. That's what they say anyway. Hope you're all awesome and well, team. Good to see you. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Got a few people on this morning. Tim, Alison, Luke, Victoria. Great to see you here this morning. I'll do a few little intros and whatnot while we're warming up. Jason Witten's my name, if you didn't already know. Most of you know that, though. So welcome along. If you're new, maybe you've found us for the first time or something like that, give us a shout out in the chat. Let us know where you're coming in from. Be good to see if there's any newbies in the house. Morning, Alex. We've got Alex. We've got Beck, Victoria, Alison, all the regulars. Tim, good to see you. Fantastic to have you here, team. Fantastic to have you here. This morning, I thought I might do a little something for the business owners. Doesn't mean that it's not applicable for people in a career per se. So stick around. But for business owners, I thought this one would be, worth having a little conversation about today. But we shall see if it is applicable. But you saw maybe the little headline. Hey, morning, Julie. Morning, Julie. You saw the little headline. There's two things in life that are certain. Or maybe you didn't see the headline. Maybe you just jumped on. But tell me in the chat. Hey, Kang, good morning to you. Tell me in the chat, what do you think? What are the two things that they say are certain in life? Tell me in the chat. Tell me what you know. Tell me what you know. Folks, tell me what you know about the saying. Two things are certain in life. What are they? Well, supposedly, anyway. Death and taxes, Tim. Exactly. That's supposedly how the story goes, folks. That's supposedly how the story goes. So, but for business owners, and let's face it, probably we can apply this to investors as well, or people who are people who are in a career. There's a third thing that is absolutely for certain that not enough is talked about. Let's concentrate on the business owners, but you guys can tell me how this applies to anyone in a career. What would be the third thing? All right, we've got death and taxes, Kelly, and you might have heard this already. But what is the third thing that is an absolute certainty for business owners at some point, folks? Does anybody know? And this thing potentially you want to be in control of, because it's going to be a lot nicer to be in control of it rather than out of control of it. But anyway, maybe this is a bit of a, what do they call those things? A cryptic question. Right, the cryptic question is, if two things are certain, but there's a third for business owners, what is it? And the thing that is certain for business owners. Oh, there we go. Let's see if that works. The thing that's certain for business owners, team, is that you will at some point, whether you choose to or not, you will exit a business. And let's face it, tell me in the chat, how do you think this might apply to us as investors as well? We're probably going to exit. We're going to exit the career that we're in. We're going to retire. We might get fired. Hopefully not. We might transition. We might move on. Whatever it is, those two things are certain, death and taxes, but a third thing is 100% certain. You're going to have an exit, folks. An exit. Hey, Ben. Good to see you, mate. Haven't seen you for ages. Hope you're well, buddy. Hope you're real well. Two things. All right. So what does that mean? What does that actually mean for us in this world? Well, an exit for a business owner often comes in these, workforce, but not retirement. Exactly, Tim. Yeah. We might exit the workforce. Yeah. So there's an exit. Let's put it in this context. There's an exit of some description for all of us. Are you ready for that exit? When it comes to earning money anymore, not being in charge of your, financial situation, et cetera, et cetera. For business owners, I'm going to do this one today for business owners. Here is the main things, the possible exit strategies that most business owners have to consider. Well, most of them don't even consider an exit. I probably shouldn't have given the answer. I should have said, hey, business owners on the call, what sort of exit are you considering? Possible exit. Let's call this above the line and below the line. And probably on the top of that one, to be honest, could be, death could be in there as well. Let's face that. But we like the idea, don't we, of being in control of an exit of some description, don't we? But are we? Are you in control? So that's the question. That's the conversation. That's the thing that we want to make sure we have a bit of a think about today when it comes to being in control of this stuff. I'm just trying to get my little pad up here to see if it's working, but we're back in track here. Right. So let's have a look at what that means. Oh, there we go. All right. So for business owners, let's take a look at what that might mean when it comes to, are we in control of how we're exiting the business? Now, as you're going along here, have a think about, if you're in the career land, have a think about what this might mean to you. And this is kind of a game of, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep, okay? Now, this first layer is about your income. As a business owner, how can you make your income be efficient? Okay. What are the numbers? What are the parameters when it comes to calculating things and doing these sorts of things? Right. So, how much you pay yourself in your salary or drawings as a business owner? Tell me in the chat, does anybody know kind of what the minimum aim is when it comes to paying ourselves in this space? All right. And I'm trying to ask a cryptic question without giving the answer away. Salary. What's the number? How much can we pay ourselves as business owners? And it will get up to a certain tax bracket, certain tax rate. Does anyone know? Profit and loss. Yes, Tim. Certainly profit and loss as we go along. Oh, so probably tell me in the chat, what are the tax rates? What's the tax rate of a company, PTY Limited company? What's the tax rate of a PTY Limited company in Australia? Does anyone know? Kang's saying 150. Anybody know the number? The tax rate for a PTY Limited trading company is 25%. That's right, Sanjeev. And what's called a bucket company, folks, bucket company is 30%. Okay. So these are kind of the numbers. These are the numbers we're wanting to emulate, match, whatever you might want to call it when it comes to being a business owner. Okay. So let's have a look at this. Up to, and Kang is on the money, 150K is close enough to the 25% tax rate as what you can pay yourself. And some of you are sitting there right now and going, hang on, Jason. Isn't the tax rate higher than that? Isn't my tax rate 40% or 43% or 42% or whatever it might be? And the answer is no. Well, yes and no at the same time, right? Because we're calculating the amount of tax, dollar percentage, not the actual tax rate. Okay. Hopefully you're following along with that one. Anyway, 150, that's 25%. All right. Next, when we come to it being in charge of our income and managing this, because if we leave the income either in a trading company or a bucket company, you're going to pay 25 to 30% tax, okay? So if you take it out in salary, that's great for you for borrowing as a business owner. You can also extract money using paying yourself super, and you should as a business owner. What's the tax rate on your super, folks? What's the tax rate when it comes to your super? Tell me right now. Anyone got that? Know that off the top with income going into the super, all right? Either on contributions or income earnings. Tim's on it. Tim's quick as a flash today. And how much can you contribute from an income? What's the maximum, team? Put that in the chat for me. So that's %. Are we beating our 30% and 25%? Yes and yes. Yes and yes. We're beating it. Say 150 for 25. It's up to 180 for 30%. So depending on where you're kicking that money, you might, if you're going to push it into a bucket company or you're going to keep it in the trading company, you got to have a look at that. And it's 27.5%. Right. So we're doing all right, aren't we? We're doing all right. Let's call it 150 plus 27. We're under that 25, 30% for the tax, the actual tax we're paying. And what else can we do, team? What else can we do? What's another way of, as a business owner, creating wealth and minimizing legally, smartly managing your wealth, and it helps you efficiently with your tax? What do most business owners have to do when it comes to a dwelling? Tell me in the chat, folks. They usually have to pay rent. All right. Commercial property. Now, if you pay your own rent, if you pay rent to yourself, so tell me this. What tax rate, if you run a business and own a commercial property that you run the business from, how much tax do you pay on the money that you earn for rent? What tax do you pay on? Put that in the chat for me. What's the tax rate on the money that you pay yourself if you own the building yourself to rent your own property from yourself? Let's call it in. And is there a limit? Tim, it was a trick question, Tim. So, anyone else got the answer, right? Because for business owners, if you earn an income, you pay for your expenses and then you pay your tax on what's left over, right? And the rent, boom, Luke, boom, you pay 0% if it's your own property that you're renting to yourself. 0% tax. How good's that, right? So again, how we're sort of managing, and how is there a limit, folks? Is there a limit? No. Technically, as long as the business can afford it, there's zero limit. There's no limit. There's no limits. No limit. Anyway, don't start singing, Jason. Anyway, there you go. And last but not least, sounds like a good loophole. It is. And, on one side, it's a bit hard for business owners to borrow. It's harder for business owners to borrow, and the risk is a bit higher. But if you get it right, folks, then there's some benefits that you can, maximize as sure. And over here, last but not least, fill this in, you can get dividends. And does anyone know when you receive a dividend from your company, which is from profits, Dividends come with a franking credit. Anyone know what a franking credit is? And I'll explain it to you. Franking credit. Franking credit, well, it's already the money that you receive as a profit, a dividend, has already had tax paid on it. So you get the money with the tax credit, 25% paid already, folks. 25% tax already paid. Tax paid already. Boom, Alison. Yep, exactly. So it's a nice way if you think about this as a business owner, and we're talking about exits, all right? Well, but to begin with, we need to get our income sorted in this way, all right? In this way. Now, there's some more things you can do, but that's the basics of it, all right? That's how we can be really efficient. That's how we can manage things well. Now, all of us, doesn't matter who you are, know this next level when it comes to the assets level, right? Assets level, team. Assets. And you know this. We've all had these chats before. Your principal place of residence, tax-free, et cetera, et cetera. It's worth understanding what that is an asset. And exactly, Luke, if you qualify, there's a certain couple of little rules and things that you've got to qualify for. But if you sell that property, you can have that capital gain, possibly capital gains tax-free, if you've structured it in the right way. It's pretty sweet. Right? Super, whatever assets that you can own in your super can have some significant tax benefits and value in the future. Obviously, any other investments, right? Property portfolio, share portfolio, other things as well. And your business value, your business and can include the commercial property, like Luke was saying a moment ago. You need to get these 4 sections humming, folks. Business owners and investors. Investors, you can tick off the PPR, super, and investments, no problem. Business owners just have a 4th one. They can maximize the value into the future as part of their exit plan, right? Their exit plan. And what does that look like? What does it look like? Well, if we're talking, business exit or asset exit, well, you can get them, you can just put them under management. You could sell those assets. I prefer not to. Okay. And then you got to understand how you transition, and this is for everyone, transition to retirement. Now, I'm putting retirement in there, transition to retirement as a word, but it's actually a financial conversation. Doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a business owner, whether you've got a career and you're an investor. You have to understand how to transition your assets from one phase to the next phase, folks. And that's pretty important to understand. You could sell, you could transition, and for business owners, you could, put your business under management as we go along. But anyway, hopefully that made sense. There's 3 things for certain for business owners in life, which is death, taxes, and an exit out of your business. Before you exit your business, are you going to be in control of that exit, folks? Are you going to be in control? And investors, the rest of us who aren't business owners, investors, do you know how to transition from the acquisition phase into the income phase? And transition is a big word. There's lots to consider. There's lots to get right. Anyway, there you go. Mate, did that make sense? Hopefully made sense. There you go. All right, well, that's it. I think I'm done. Yeah. That's it, folks. Wealth Coffee Chat's done and dusted for today. Join me tomorrow for another one. I'll be around. I'm going to be down in Sydney little bit of travel this few weeks in Sydney over the next week. So I'll pop in the mornings for a quick one on the fly. And we'll do another Wealth Coffee Chat. As always, folks, thanks for joining me. Great to have you here today. And if there's anything that you're thinking of, something might be on your mind, give us a shout out. Let me know. Put it in the chat. I'll see it. I'll read it afterwards, and I can do a Wealth Coffee Chat on anything that's concerning you. Anyway, folks, done and dusted. You guys be awesome and well. Catch you tomorrow for another one. Take care, team. Bye for now.